Right now at 6, Pittsburgh police nabbed 2 suspects linked to recent thefts, thanks to a revealing video.
And we've got strong to severe thunderstorms rolling into the area this morning. The latest on that coming up.
Plus, Vernon County tornado victims face new hurdles as rain and power outages complicate recovery efforts.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Friday, April the 4th. And again, ordinarily a celebration for Fridays, but we have another round of strong severe thunderstorms. And as we just mentioned, it's only hampering the recovery efforts in the Mountville and Nevada areas. And unfortunately, more showers and storms are on the way this morning through the afternoon and evening hours too. So just not getting a break up there. Let's start with a quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. So I want to do some checking. As it turns out, it looks a little hazy. There's fog. Pittsburgh reporting visibilities just under 2 miles right now. But again, we're at that situation where it's not about the temperatures. It's about the level of instability or the energy that's available for thunderstorm development. And we've had that energy surging north into our area. So we have our camera in Pittsburgh and at 7th and Range Line in Joplin pointed back to the southwest because that's the direction these storms will come from. MoDOT camera is just conveniently pointed back to the southwest for us at 20th and Range Line. We don't control those. They decide to move it. They can move it. Here's what we've got. Severe thunderstorm watch. Delaware, Benton, McDonald, Berry counties through 11 a.m. Monitoring the storms off to our south and west. I'd say we want to keep an eye for possible either expansion of that watch or perhaps another watch. That is unusual. We have a lightning strike just kind of in the middle of nowhere out there. That goes back to something else I want to talk about. These storms this morning, very electrical. We have severe thunderstorm warnings outside of our immediate area now, but all of this activity flared up very quickly. This activity on the eastern half of that bigger complex by Oklahoma City has flared up within the last couple of hours. This is an ongoing complex that keeps recycling. It's been severe just about all morning long. Nearly 700 lightning strikes with it as just by itself. It's now lifting by this warning's update to the north, which is why, again, we'll want to see if we see an expansion of this watch or perhaps another one issued. We got to see where the instability line drops off because we do know, based on some new information this morning, we're getting increased energy for these storms across Oklahoma and at least into southwest Missouri. That's where that watch comes from. But we're going to have to watch it very closely. Again, our severe weather outlook for today will not update until 8 a.m. But right now we still have primarily the concern is for hail. That's really going to be it. And regardless if this updates and moves a little, the primary concern is going to be for possibilities of hail across the region, which again will not help the folks in Mountville or Nevada. But you also have to be cautious, just like yesterday. When thunder roars, you've got to head indoors. So make sure you've got a backup location if you're out cleaning up again in case thunderstorms begin to roll into your area. By the time we get through this first batch, we'll have scattered showers and storms out there through the afternoon, but I think we're looking at another possible, I want to emphasize possible window of strong, potentially severe storms between roughly 2 p.m. and about maybe 6 p.m. with another complex of storms. Still roughly in that same zone where we just showed you that highlight for the low risk of hail. So it's something else we're going to have to keep a very close eye on out there. Temperatures this morning don't line up with thunderstorm potential, but it is there. We've got the upper 40s, low 50s out there. We're looking at highs eventually into the mid 50s. Again, it doesn't seem like it'd be a severe thunderstorm kind of day, but it could very well be. We're already seeing it down to our south and again into the mid 50s. We'll also be breezy. Northeast winds gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. We're going to continue to track these storms. If any new warnings, watches pop up, we'll certainly let you know. And then in our later forecast, we've got snow possible this weekend. Snow after everything else. We'll have all those details for you here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
The morning rains led to some car crashes in the area. Hydroplaning caused 2 accidents in Joplin yesterday morning. One driver suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Details on the other are still unknown. Both drivers were wearing seatbelts. Missouri State Highway Patrol wants to remind drivers that it is the law to turn on your headlights on if your windshield wipers are on. Another crash yesterday morning turned fatal. Yesterday morning, Cherokee County authorities responded to a head-on collision involving 2 vehicles. It happened just west of Columbus on Highway 160 near Northwest 50th. Authorities determined a Nissan Xterra attempted to pass two semi-trucks, causing a head-on collision with the Chevrolet truck. The driver of the Nissan, Randy Kirkpatrick of Oswego, sustained major injuries and was transported to a Labette County hospital. The driver of the pickup, Alan Christmas, died in the crash. Authorities report a Chanute resident died in a head-on crash around 8 a.m. yesterday in Neosho County, Kansas. The crash happened north of 70th Road on Highway 169. A Nissan Kicks veered into the other lane, and an oncoming GMC Sierra tried to avoid the Nissan by steering to the left. The vehicles collided near the center of the road. The Nissan driver was 55-year-old Janie Umbarger, who died at the scene. The other driver is a 76-year-old male who was taken to the Neosho Memorial Regional Medical Center with suspected minor injuries. Berry County prosecutors have charged a man and woman in connection with a murder last month. Brandy Coburn of Verona, Missouri, and Jimmy Taylor of Exeter, Missouri are charged with first-degree murder and abandonment of a corpse. The charges stem from a death from about March 11th at a house in Verona. Authorities say Coburn and Taylor shot Marvin Lance McCool, then transported the body in the trunk of a car to a farm and set it on fire. The pair are being held without bond. Pittsburgh police arrest two suspects in connection to a string of thefts, including one where the thieves were caught on camera stealing a camera. The crimes happened between March 28th and April 2nd. Police were not able to nail down the suspects until this video was shared. It shows one person shining a light into a home, and the second person comes in after and steals the camera. We have more information about the crimes at KOAMnewsnow.com. The two suspects have been arrested. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The process to repair and clean up is well underway, but people impacted by Wednesday's tornado in Vernon County, Missouri, face some serious challenges. Storm victims are still battling the elements as they deal with the damage. For starters, they've had to contend with rain yesterday, posing its own threat to damaged homes and businesses. On top of that, many still don't have power. Utilities crews in Vernon County are working to restore power to residents and businesses. Despite the dozens of trucks and workers, officials tell us power will not be fully restored to the county for another 2 to 3 days. The Red Cross and other organizations in Nevada are hoping to provide relief and shelter to those who need it, as the damage assessment is still ongoing.
So we're here just to encourage them, love on them, and let them know there are people that really care about them and want to help them. And you've seen that in this community. This is a great community. People just coming out to help their neighbor, don't know their neighbor, but they're coming out to help. And that's what we love to see. And that's the greatest thing about our country, that, you know, in times of disaster, people come together to help one another.
The Red Cross and the county say there's been a large inflow of donations already. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. In the wake of the Trump administration's new tariff policy, Ford announces employee pricing for all U.S. customers. Plus, President Trump's tariffs is set to touch nearly every country on Earth. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Gas prices rose again this past week, and it was a bigger jump than the previous week. AAA says gasoline jumped by more than 10 cents to $3.26 a gallon this past week. It says refinery maintenance and the switch to a summer blend are among the factors driving the increase. The last time the national average for a gallon of regular gas was $3.26 was in September. AAA says that's consistent with seasonal shifts, and it says current prices remain below the levels seen same time last year. One American automaker is now offering employee pricing on many of its vehicles to all its customers in the United States. The new initiative from Ford went into effect Thursday and will run through June 2nd. It comes the day after President Donald Trump officially announced a 25% tariff on all imported vehicles. Ford says it's offering the deal amid the uncertainty many Americans have over how exactly the tariffs will impact them. The automaker does have exclusions to its offer. Specialty Mustang and Bronco vehicles, Raptors, as well as the 2025 Expedition and Navigator SUVs aren't eligible for employee pricing. Customers also won't be able to get the offer on Super Duty trucks. Apple shares tumbled nearly 9% Thursday morning, shortly after the market opened. That's a nearly $300 billion loss in market value. It comes in the wake of President Donald Trump's sweeping tariff announcement on imports Wednesday. Apple produces gadgets abroad in places like China, Vietnam, and India. The iPhone maker could take a significant hit from tariffs when importing goods for U.S. consumers. Asian financial markets continued their decline Friday after U.S. markets plummeted. The massive sell-off after President Trump announced sweeping tariffs that will touch nearly every country on Earth. The impact already being felt in the auto industry, but the White House continues to promise the long-term gain will be worth it. Jared Hill has the latest.
Financial turmoil after news of President Trump's tariffs. U.S. markets took a nosedive Thursday, but aboard Air Force One, the president's optimism sky high.
We have tariffs, they've been set, and it's going to make our country very rich.
Framing the taxes on imported goods as a bargaining chip. As global trading partners figure out how to move forward, some economists warn of the impact at home.
The president's trade policy is going to do a lot of economic damage. It's going to reduce the income of households. It's going to reduce the purchasing power of wages.
Well, it'll raise our costs for sure.
Grocers are projecting higher prices for basic food items.
Because we have to match it. Whatever they raise it to, we have to make a profit.
With President Trump's 25% tax on imported cars and auto parts, U.S. automaker Stellantis announced it's temporarily laying off 900 employees at 5 U.S. facilities as a result of pausing production in some of its plants in Mexico and Canada. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney announced his own tariffs in retaliation to the U.S. move.
We take these measures reluctantly, and we take them in ways that it's intended and will cause maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada.
On Capitol Hill, Republicans and Democrats criticized the president's trade policy.
The president made one of the dumbest decisions in history.
As Trump allies work to calm concerns.
He's asking for and needs this space to flex America's muscle as the largest consuming nation in the world.
Asking for time. Jared Hill, CBS News.
That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're continuing to track strong to severe thunderstorms still outside of our immediate area, but we have the severe thunderstorm watch through 11 a.m. for Delaware, Benton, McDonald, and Berry counties. We'll continue to monitor these storms, have the latest when we come back.
It's being called the next generation of electric flight. Tuesday was a historic day for Beta Technologies after a 3-pilot crew returned to Vermont. Laura Oyolman has the recap of their coast-to-coast trip.
You meet some amazing people along the way.
Nathan Doobie likes to take the path less traveled.
Doing something that people aren't originally designed to do.
He's been a pilot for 12 years, flying high and serving our country in the National Guard. But most recently, he's taken up the skill of operating electric airplanes.
Flying electric airplanes is just far simpler and more efficient.
Doobie's just returned back from a trip across the country. From the Hollywood sign to sunset at the Grand Canyon, a stop at the country's busiest airport in Atlanta, and past the New York skyline. Doobie descended into Vermont Tuesday to bring Beta's electric baby home.
That kind of work doesn't happen with prototypes. This happens with real working aircraft that will transform how aviation people and goods move around the country, and not in a decade. We're talking in months and years. This is upon us. What you just saw is the future of aviation.
The plane's return was a big moment for the company, which recently signed a deal with Air New Zealand. Planes made by Vermonters will be delivering mail 9,000 miles away.
We're going to build an aerospace workforce and ecosystem here in the Green Mountain State, throughout the state.
Happy I'm home?
Yeah. Back on the tarmac, Doobie reunites with his family after 6 weeks of on and off travel.
It's great. Yeah, we're home.
Beta Technologies is planning to hire more people in Vermont as the company grows. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we got that severe thunderstorm watch in our southern counties through 11 a.m. and continuing to monitor strong 2 severe thunderstorms off to our south. No warnings in our area at this time, but if that changes, we'll let you know. Got another full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We are sitting at 6:22 on this Friday morning. We have a severe thunderstorm watch again through 11 a.m. for Delaware, Benton, McDonald, and Berry counties, and I'm going to show you why. We have nothing in our immediate area. All right, but we take this thing down south. It is not that far away. Look at this complex of storms. And again, this is for those who are still working on cleanup efforts in Moundville and Nevada areas. Lightning is extremely dangerous, even if the severe weather doesn't make it to you. Take a look. This complex here, 644 lightning strikes. That's actually down. Earlier it was up to nearly 900. But even just this thunderstorm here, look at the volume of lightning strikes in that small area, 408. These are very electrical storms, and you can see that we do have some severe thunderstorm warnings out there as well that we got to keep a close eye on. What we got to keep a close eye on is this one south of Tulsa. Right now, it had been lifting northeast. It is now turning almost due north. And we'll have to see if it can still hold its strength as it gets closer to our area. If it gets closer and continues on its speed, and of course, and now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for the one we just did that lightning count on, it will bring it into our parts of northeastern Oklahoma here in our coverage area around 7 to 7:15. If it speeds up or slows down, that will change that. But here's what's happening. If you go outside right now, it's cool, it's almost chilly, but you can feel the energy in the air. The air is kind of thick. We've had instability. We've had the energy for these storms come racing up out of the south, and it's really filled in across Oklahoma and at least into southwest Missouri. That's why these storms are getting going. That's why they're holding their own, and they're continuing to push off. So now we have this new storm just to the east of McAllister, Oklahoma, that's also lifting kind of a north-northeast track. So that watch, we'll keep an eye on it, but it could potentially be expanded or maybe another one issued for some of our western counties, depending on the process of this line. But take a look. A couple hours ago, by 4 a.m., the only thing we had, and it was off our screen at that point, was that storm complex way down by the Oklahoma-Texas border. And then if you look, you see all those little splotches pop up, and as they run into that greater instability, they start organizing, and now we're getting more and more strong to severe thunderstorms out there. Now, hail is the primary concern with these storms, and that's what's been showing up also at our severe risk. We also have that possibility of very heavy rainfall into the weekend, and we do have flood watches along and south of the I-44 corridor. So again, remember, if we do get to that point of any kind of flooding, turn around, don't drown. Do not try and go through any areas that are flooded. And of course, in our southern counties, there's a lot of low-lying spots. If you know you are either in an area or perhaps your drive takes you through an area that is prone to flooding, you need to be paying very close attention to potential flood warnings. Our severe weather outlook for today will not update until 8 a.m. or around 8 a.m., but it still shows that low to elevated hail risk. And I think even if it updates, all it might do is bring that hail threat a little further to the northwest. So that's the good news, is just the hail threat, but still the hail's damaging as it is. We do not need that in the Nevada or Moundville areas. And of course, we don't need any more rain or thunderstorms, but unfortunately, that's what we're looking at. Now we get this complex through this morning, and then as we head into the afternoon, a few more scattered showers and storms, and I think we're looking at possibly a second window for additional strong to severe thunderstorms between 2 and say 6 p.m. In this zone. You can see, look at that complex. It lines up with that hail risk that we have right now for our severe weather outlook today is right through here. And then that'll push on through, and we'll have, once again, overnight isolated showers or thunderstorms. Continuing, they return on Saturday. No severe weather is expected on Saturday at this point. But what might happen, first off, we're pretty darn chilly, into the upper 40s. And then overnight Saturday into Sunday, temperatures drop enough that by the first half of our Sunday, we could see snowfall, snow showers at least. No accumulations expected from it, but it's just one more wild ride in the last several days of the first of the severe weather, and now that possibility of some snow showers. Mid-50s today, upper 40s Saturday and Sunday, and we'll start warming up as we head into the next work week, back in the 60s and 70s. We might see a couple of additional pop-up showers or storms by next Friday. I will continue to monitor these storms as they get closer to the area. If there's any new watches or warnings, we will certainly let you know. For now, we're going to send it over to Samantha with Health Watch.
Topping Health Watch this morning. The Trump administration's deportation efforts may lead to a workforce shortage in healthcare. An analysis by JAMA found more than 1 million non-citizen immigrants work in healthcare, making up a 4% of hospital workers and 7% of nursing home workers. There are already staffing shortages in nearly half of U.S. nursing homes. Living in a walkable neighborhood is good for your heart. A study by the European Society of Cardiology found that people who live in neighborhoods that aren't easily walkable had a 5% higher chance of cardiovascular disease compared to those who live in walkable areas. It's recommended that people get 150 minutes of moderate physical activity every week. There's more evidence that exercise is good for your mind as well as your body. A study by the University of Birmingham found that elderly people who exercise often performed better in cognitive tests. The study's authors said physical fitness reduces mental fatigue, and a sedentary lifestyle speeds up the mental aging process. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, we'll see how Newton County is turning awareness into action for Child Abuse Prevention Month.
We have strong to severe thunderstorms rolling in and even some patchy fog as well. We'll go over all of that with you coming up.
Plus, Parsons City Commissioners discuss expanding fiber optic internet access to all residents.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Friday, April the 4th, and we have another round of strong to severe thunderstorms rolling through. Now, again, nothing like Wednesday, but nonetheless, still just a serious situation. Once again, with hail being the primary concern out there, and then some of us are even seeing patchy fog this morning. So you might be stepping out thinking, severe weather, you've got to be kidding me. But it's not always about the air temperature. It's about the amount of instability or energy or fuel for these storms in the area. And in the last, let's see, it's a little after 6, so we're going to say in the last 2 or 3 hours, we've had energy just flowing in from the south. And if you go outside, yeah, the temperature's cool, but you can kind of feel the moisture that's in the air. You can feel the thickness of the air. Let's take a look. We're going to start with the downtown camera in Pittsburgh. And if you look, you can see some of that patchy fog. Pittsburgh still reporting excuse me, visibility's just under 2 miles out there. Joplin also now reporting visibility is about 1.5 miles. You can see a little bit of that haze from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. Now we've got our camera in Pittsburgh and our camera at 7th and Rangeline both pointed southwest, because that's going to be where these storms end up coming from. And again, it's just a matter of convenience that MoDOT has pointed this camera southwest. Hopefully they leave it there because it'll give us another great perspective as these storms push into the area. So your thunderstorm watch for Delaware, Benton, Berry, and McDonald and Berry counties until 11 o'clock this morning. That's because we have these thunderstorms, and we do have that one warning that's just outside of our area. It's Washington and Carroll counties in northwestern Arkansas. This one is lifting off to the north and east at 50. So if anything, it's heading for the Branson area. We now only have this warning. This warning has been dropped from this complex south of Tulsa, but we now have this severe thunderstorm warning. It's lifting off to the northeast at about 60 miles an hour. And as you see, even back behind it, okay, we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This one is just outside of our immediate area. And I'm trying to remember which one of these is going to let me take a look at what we've got with that warning, because we want to just check it out because it's getting closer to home. It's now moving back to the northeast. So this warning goes until 7:15 this morning. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it because it's starting to roll right up the I-44 corridor out there. And that was the expectation. All this energy flowing in ahead of this complex, which initially was just this storm here down by the Texas-Oklahoma border. But now it's lifting off to the northeast. We saw a bunch of development. I want to put this in motion because if you look, all we had initially were these little bloops. But as they ran into this unstable air mass that's been pushed into our area, they started to organize, and now we're getting these strong to severe thunderstorms out there. So we've got to watch this closely. Again, our severe weather outlook for today won't update until close to 8 a.m., but we have that low to elevated hail risk. I think if there's any update, the most we'll see is maybe this hail threat backed a little further to the northwest. For those of you, again, in Nevada and Moundville cleaning up, main thing to remember is when thunder roars, head indoors. If you're out there doing cleanup, you want to make sure you've got a place to go if a a thunderstorm does roll into your area, even if it's not severe, the lightning's still dangerous. Taking a look at the future track, we get this complex through, and then I think between about 2 and 6 p.m., we could have another complex in roughly that same zone that could be strong, potentially severe, and again with large hail as the primary concern out there. We're going to continue to monitor these storms. If we get any new warnings, especially into our area, or if we see any new watches go out, we will certainly let you know and keep you updated. We'll have also more on your forecast, plus our weekend snow chances. It's hard to believe with everything else we've had this week, but yes, snow chances. I'll go over all of that with you here in just a few more minutes.
Thanks, Chris. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the Newton County Sheriff's Office wants to help increase awareness. Each one of these pinwheels represents a child abuse case worked by the department in the course of a single year. The department partners every year with the Children's Center of Southwest Missouri. Goodman, Missouri police want to remind dog owners they must have their best friends registered with the city. All dogs must also be current on rabies vaccinations. They also want to remind owners if you let your dog out, they must be on a leash. The Parsons City Commissioners met with Ideatech yesterday afternoon to get an update on fiber optic internet for the city. Previously, fiber service was only available to businesses through Cox, but will now be accessible to all residents in Parsons. Ideatech is a Kansas-based company, already serving several communities in southwest and central Kansas, and soon both Baxter Springs and Parsons in southeast Kansas. As terrorists make their impact across the nation, what about here in the 4 states? KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with local experts from Pitt State University and AAA on how these tariffs can affect you.
I like building stuff, and I like to see a project from the beginning to the end. So it's something like I'm passionate about.
Jorge Narvaez is a senior at Pitt State. He says he has dreams of being in the construction business one day. He says he has no worries about the economy, at least for now.
For now, I think that I'm good, but like I've heard that the job market's kind of going a little down, but for construction management, there's always opportunities.
Surely he hopes it stays that way, and so do many others. But with these new tariffs facing the nation, Pitt State professor of economics Alex Binder says he has his own fears.
Worst case scenario is that businesses facing the uncertainty about tariffs from other countries and from our own will lay off employees.
And not only that, Professor Binder says it could really affect your wallet.
The most likely initial effects are that prices for many consumer goods will go up.
And what about those gas prices in our area? That's a question for AAA spokesperson Nick Shabaria.
Price per gallon at local stations, could range anywhere from 12 to 15 cents per gallon increase as a result of some of the tariffs.
With all that information, hopefully Jorge has a backup plan.
A backup? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, probably just work regular construction if it doesn't work.
Will these tariffs be good or bad to our economy? Only time will tell, according to our experts. Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Professor Binder says because of the uncertainty with tariffs, it probably is not a good idea to retire right now. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and that means Shannon Becker joins us with his big 3 stories of the week. And rain chances continue. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon. So thank you so much for joining us.
Well, you're doing a great job as always.
Well, thank you so much. So I know you've probably had a very busy week.
Maybe. Yes. And we might have a little bit more with this severe weather this morning. Chris has more details. Let's take a look, though, at our big 3 stories of the week. It was the morning of the Nevada and tornado, you maybe want to call it. It was actually not raining at the time at the Seneca Veterinary Clinic on Highway 43. It's actually been closed for years. The doctor had passed away, but a vacant property and very suspicious circumstances from the fire. The Newton County Sheriff is investigating along with the Missouri State Fire Marshal. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First, a bizarre crash just south of the Rainbow Bridge. Very bizarre. A single vehicle crash. A teenager from Baxter Springs went off the road and car was impaled by the guardrail Have you ever seen anything like this?
Shocking video.
I've seen on the internet, but never in person, obviously. The teenager did suffer serious injuries. She will recover, amazingly. That's great news, right? Our number one story of the week, it's no surprise, it was about the severe weather. This is footage from Nevada. My friend Deputy Travis Goodwin, who used to be a Joplin police officer through the Joplin tornado, he works in Vernon County now and gave us a tour of the area as he was working that day. I mean, power lines down everywhere. The infrastructure is going to take a long time to get some of this stuff back together. I mean, like we just saw rail cars blown over. A lot of residents that you don't necessarily see on the major roads were destroyed in between the two towns, Moundsville and Nevada. This is a farm implement store, a New Holland dealer, totally destroyed, a lot of damage. Here at the golf course, you can see beautiful homes, but a lot of damage there. And looks like some kind of sheet metal building that had blown into the trees there. But amazingly, nobody was injured. Of course, I'm still blown away. No pun intended. I'm still blown away by that. In our bonus story of the week last night, I got to take a little sneak peek at the circus. It's happening at the old Big Lots in Webb City. So they've got times all weekend long. Look at them, they're doing the little dancing. That was the aerial Air Force, and they got up on the ropes and did everything. They've got pony rides for the kids if you want to do that at intermission.
Very fun.
Tarzan Zerbini Circus. You can find out more details on our website, KOAM News Now.
I know tonight we're also going to have a live look at that circus
Oh, are we?
5 and 6 for
Okay,
KOAM.
great.
I believe Anthony Saviello is going to be there. He's going to have a blast as always.
I'll have to tag along. I want to go.
I mean, it looks like a fun time.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Especially after a busy week like you. I know you mentioned, these storms could have been a whole lot worse, a lot more
Definitely.
injuries. That crash,
Definitely.
she's going to recover. That fire was a business that was
Yeah.
no longer operation. So I think kind of the theme I was feeling is this could have been so much worse.
Yeah, it could have for sure on everything today.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again for joining us, Shannon. You can find more of his stories online on the KOAM News page as Joplin News First, as well on social media.
All right, time for some Friday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in Columbus with Carter Ruth celebrating birthday number 1. Happy birthday, Carter.
And then we got Mr. Walker Shanholzer, number 3 in McCoon, Kansas. And we have a message. Happy birthday, love Mom, Dad, and Weston. Happy birthday, Walker.
And in Columbus, Evelyn Smith celebrating the Big 11 today. Very happy birthday to you, Evelyn.
And then Chance Gillard is celebrating big birthday number 16. Happy birthday, Chance.
And then we have Anna Dean in Pittsburgh celebrating birthday number 21. Happy birthday.
And in Carthage, Missouri, Alec Cleveland is celebrating birthday number 21 as well. We have a message. We're so proud of the young man you have become. We love you bunches, Pawpaw, Yaya, Dad, Mom, and the Harps. Happy birthday, Alec.
All right. And in Pittsburgh, we have Taylor Hudgens celebrating birthday number 22. Happy birthday.
And in Carthage again, Michael Parker is celebrating birthday number 41. Happy birthday from Sarah, Ryland, Auntie, and family. We love you. Happy birthday, Michael.
And in La Harpe, we've got Angela Klein celebrating birthday number 50 with happy birthday love coming from your family.
And Mike Myers is turning number 70 in Chanute, Kansas. Happy birthday, Mike. Love your family. Thank you for making us laugh every single day.
And in Weir, we've got Cleo Jones celebrating birthday number 90. A very happy birthday to you, Cleo.
And in Cherokee, Kansas, Betty Smith is celebrating birthday number 91. Happy birthday, Betty.
And we've got a 50th anniversary in Lamar for John and Joyce Dement. I love that throwback picture there, and I'm sure you've had 50 great years and probably another 50 great years ahead of you. A very happy anniversary to the Dements.
And another very special anniversary, number 58 from Nevada, Missouri, for Joe and Pat Willis. Happy anniversary to you guys.
And last but not least, we've got our very own Shelly Saporito. She's an administrative assistant here at KOAM. She's really one of the pieces of glue, many pieces of glue, that holds this whole place together. Shelly is also, I get to loot her cabinet for supplies. If I need pens or markers or paper, she has a great supply cabinet that is worth looting that she keeps fully stocked at all times. A very essential thing for this station. You never know when you're going to need supplies.
Yes.
So a very happy and special birthday to you, Shelly. And of course, that was a fantastic list of birthdays and anniversaries All of them had pictures. We want all of them to be that way. Samantha, what can they do to help us out?
Yeah, of course we want to celebrate with you guys, so you can send those birthdays and anniversaries to that email that you see on your screen. That's birthdays@komnewsnow.com. Just make sure you do pay attention to that deadline that you can see on your screen and make sure we get it in time so we can help celebrate that really special day for you.
Absolutely, and of course make sure, as she mentioned, you meet that deadline. It's on the screen. All right, we got severe weather to talk about. Excuse me. You hate that. There's something just caught in your throat, and no matter what you do, you can't clear it. So I'm going to get through this. So we have the severe thunderstorm watch in our area. It's Delaware, Benton, McDonald, and Berry counties through 11 a.m. Now, there's nothing saying that it's going to change, but I do believe it's at least a possibility. We may see either a new watch or an extension of this one a little further to the north based on the activity that we're seeing getting closer to our area. You see that big severe thunderstorm warning down there that comes right up to our backyard. And that is for that sucker. That is a big complex of storms. It has been rolling since it was down by, it's been severe off and on since it was down by the Texas-Oklahoma border. And it continues to be. So we also have another severe thunderstorm warning out there. It's McIntosh, Sequoia, and Muskogee counties. And that one is moving north at 60. The thing is, this one that's rolling through Tulsa, they are saying it was showing a weakening trend, and it's been doing that. It keeps recycling every so often. But the last update here, it was initially moving northeast at 90 miles an hour. That's been an odd trend this week, too. That line coming through Kansas picked up enough speed earlier this week that initially it was moving at 110 miles an hour. Now, this one has slowed down to 65 miles an hour. So what we're going to do for you is we're going to back this up, and we're going to do a storm track. Give me just a moment because I have to tell the computer what speed it's moving at. And they said 65, so we're telling the computer that this batch here is moving at 65. We're going to kind of draw out a whole line here, dragging it to the northeast. At that point, again, see, this is why I said, too, the speed, as it changes, will impact its arrival time. So we're looking at J by 7:05, Grove by 7:14, Miami 7:31, Joplin 7:49, the Pittsburgh area by 8:09, Lamar 8:18, and again, regrettably, Nevada, if it's still severe, by 8:41. So that's also going to put it through the Moundville area not long before that. So we've got to continue to track these storms very closely because whether they're severe or not, by the time they get to some of our area, take a look at the volume of lightning from just this section here. Take a look at that. We have got, it didn't pop up for some reason, a total of 581 lightning strikes with this activity. So very electrical storms out there, and they're all, again, continuing to lift off to the northeast. At anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour on average. Some been a little faster, some have gone a little slower. And again, they're cycling through. So what we have, if you look ahead, see all those little splotches there that were just little splotches? That was about 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning. What's happened is, even though it's cool outside, we had a surge of fuel for these storms come in to Oklahoma and as far north as southwest Missouri. And that's what fueled these ones getting organized as they ran into that. Now, it's starting to congeal into this big cluster here. We did have some individual storms. Now they're kind of building into this big cluster that's continuing to surge up I-44 at this point. And there's an update on that severe thunderstorm warning. It's still not in our area. Give me just a moment. I just want to make sure nothing significant has changed because we do not want that. And the good news is we are not looking necessarily at anything like what we saw Wednesday, but still, it's something we want to keep a close eye on. So the good news is, again, no big changes. We're looking at winds to 60 miles an hour. And again, hail's our primary concern. We're looking at $half size hail with this thing as it continues to surge off to the north and east. And we also have the flooding concern. Flood watches along and south of the I-44 corridor through at least Sunday morning. That's, of course, a lot of low-lying areas down here. So if you are in one of those areas, or you know your route to work, church, wherever it is, could take you through a low-lying area, remember, turn around, don't drown, and keep an eye out for potential flood warnings. We'll have more on these storms. Continue to monitor them as they push through the area. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., not only will we continue to have more on the storms, we'll also see how today's gardeners are dealing with the challenges of climate change.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Berry County prosecutors have charged a man and woman in connection with a murder last month. Brandy Coburn of Verona, Missouri, and Jimmy Taylor of Exeter, Missouri are charged with first-degree murder and abandonment of a corpse. Authorities say Coburn and Taylor shot Marvin Lance McCool, then transported the body in the trunk of a car to a farm and set it on fire. The pair are being held without bond. Pittsburgh police arrest 2 suspects in connection to a string of thefts. The crimes happened between March 28th and April 2nd. Police were not able to nail down the suspects until this video was shared. After interrogation, both suspects were taken into custody Wednesday afternoon. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the Newton County Sheriff's Office wants to help increase awareness. Each of these pinwheels represents a child abuse case worked in the department in a single year. The department partners every year with the Children's Center of Southwest Missouri. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we're continuing to track severe thunderstorms potentially rolling into the area. Severe thunderstorm watch, Delaware, Benton, McDonald, and Berry counties through 11 a.m. We have a severe thunderstorm warning just outside our area for this big complex of storms that's beginning to push in north and east. So we're going to continue to track this through the morning, as it could still potentially bring severe weather to our area. The greatest concern with this is going to be for large hail, and that's what they've been seeing so far primarily with these storms. Highs today, mid-50s. Could see another round of strong storms between roughly 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Much cooler tomorrow, still breezy, upper 40s Saturday, Sunday. No severe weather expected Saturday. And then early Sunday, we could see some light snow showers. No accumulations from that, but it's just one more wild thing that we're going to have as we head into the weekend. And then we'll start to warm back up and be a little more spring-like next week.
Okay, definitely something we'll watch. Thanks, Chris. Coming up today at noon, we're making easy butter chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Kylie Vasquez joins us in the studio to talk about the annual Web City Spring Shop Hop.
And Shannon Becker back in the studio at the big 3 stories of the week. However, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. Of course, if any new warnings or watches pop up, we'll pop in for you. We'll be back here Monday morning with calmer weather and warmer temperatures at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.